Hello, hello, here we go, it's the Copeye Podcast.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Copeye Podcast. I'm Mick and I'm delighted to be joined by former Reds left-back Gregory Vignal. How are we doing, Gregory?
Good morning, fine.
Well, I saw you drinking a little espresso early in the morning because it is 10 a.m. on a Saturday, so we can forgive you for that one. But I'm just on the water this morning, so yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on. Thanks very much for jumping on. How's things these days for you?
It's fine. Not bad. Well, it's a lovely day in Glasgow today, so I enjoy the week, of course, because of course Liverpool play the Champions League final and the Rangers will play the Europa League final. So it has been a great week.
Oh, it has indeed.
Lovely to watch.
Yeah, it's been tremendous. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later, I suppose, in terms of both clubs getting to European finals. That's amazing, isn't it? When you think about it, Rangers, Gerrard leaving and then getting a new manager, and the fact that they've gone on to do what they've done is terrific. But I just thought we'd start, obviously, with your Liverpool career. You signed back in September of 2000. How did that all come about, and how excited were you to join the Reds at the time?
But straight away after the Euro, after the final when we won the Euro, 48 hours had a phone call from my agent, and because at that time Montpellier, my French academy, had on the table, a few offers from Spain, France, but I think Jacques Crevoisier played a big part because he was close with Gerrard from the French FA. So I had a phone call, and the boss told me, "You stop everything. There is a flight for you." To go to Paris with your dad and your girlfriend, and just want to meet you as soon as possible. So I went to Paris, stopped at the Sheraton Hotel, and had a meeting with the boss, with my agent and my family, and I couldn't say no. Like I said 100 times, because just about the club, the Liverpool story, the project, and the English football.
Yeah, and to be fair, like that, there's a few teams in Liverpool's history that you look back on and you can remember most of the squad. And I think you were part of that squad, really, obviously, because what we went on to achieve. And obviously, you had a good run in the team. I think it was during the start of 2000 and 2001 season. But Marcus Babbel, who we had on the show last year, actually, and we talked to Marcus quite a bit about, obviously, the Guillain-Barré syndrome that he contracted and the whole thing that he had to go with that, which was obviously really terrible and something that he had to deal with at the time. And Carragher moved to right back and gave you a chance kind of to show Liverpool fans what you were made of. But how was that for you, like trying to settle into a new country and a new style of football and a new way of life as a young person?
Well, looks, I think, really exciting, and if we look back, I think I've been lucky and unlucky during my time at Liverpool, because I came with a lot of energy, and the winning mentality, try to learn a lot of things from this football club, from the players, from the staff, and it has been first and foremost an honor, because how many players would like to play for this football club? So I think I've been unlucky with my injuries. I think this is my worst bad time, because it's been hard for nearly a year, and it's a shame, because I think I was fit. And I remember a day when Stevie G told me we had a party, Arbor Dogs, team bonding with the players, and he said, "You are ready to play for this football club." So I knew at this time, I said, "Okay, Greg, you have done the right things, and I'm on the pitch to be ready." And I always give my best. I think I was capable to run up and down all day long and put the ball into the box. I was aggressive. I think I had the Liverpool DNA in my blood, but that's life. Sometimes there is like big regrets. But after this, if you got a big picture, I left the club with the 3 trophies, and in the back, play for my country, play for Liverpool, winning trophy, played with massive players around me. Michael Ower, Ballon d'Or, Stevie G become the captain, and player like Kara, proper scouts, and so that's mean I can't forget this. I mean, it's been an honor for me, and I left the club as a man, as a dad, because my first daughter, she's born in Liverpool, she's scouts, and we kept a lot of friends in Liverpool. So that's part of my life.
Yeah, and like you said, it's something that obviously you maybe do look back on with regret in terms of the injuries. I suppose that's just, you can't really control that. I suppose in the way that you played football, you were quite strong in the tackle. You like to get stuck in. You were, like you said, full of heart, and you wore that on your sleeve. So you wouldn't change that anyway, would you? In that regard, because that was your style of playing and style of that was your way of playing football in a way, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that's why Gerrard really signed me. He said he watched. I think he watched the last 3 years. So before to sign me, he said to the coaches from the French FA, and he said, I want to have a look of the great games, So he knew me, 100%, and he took me because he signed me because of my spirit, and my mentality to be a fighter. So and it's funny because, I mean, it's funny. It's that's what the Liverpool fans, always remember about me, and so he should stay longer with us, and because he was capable, he was, a great left back. But like I said, that sometimes life is like this. But yeah, I came with this mentality, and when I left my country, I was 19 and a half, 19 years old. So new culture, new language, new country. So at this time, we are talking roughly about 20 years ago. So living in Liverpool, strong city, and 4 o'clock is dark during the winter.
Yeah.
Raining a lot. So imagine the difference between south of France, from Montpellier, and the weather and everything. So it's been a big change for me, leaving my country, leaving my family, and but it's a lovely experience because at the end of the day, I spent 3.5 years, and that's why the beginning of my career. So what a start, eh?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and I think you fractured your foot against Grimsby, I think in the October of 2001, which I think that just kind of sums it up in a way. Like, it's not like it wasn't like a little injury. It was something like that, which then kept you out for the rest of the season, I think, which was some. I mean, like, we're just talking about how frustrating that is, and that's something that's going to keep you out for a while. And especially when you get to the level where you're starting to show everyone what you're capable of, and then something like that happens, that kind of can set you back of also out of the team, but also psychologically, I think, in terms of having to fight your way back in from that, and fighting back from that's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, I made a mistake. This day before the team talk, because I felt really, really tired on this day, and I couldn't wake up, from the nappy, and it's funny because I am at the same time in the same lift like the boss. And I've got in my mind, Greg, you should speak to the boss and tell him you're really tired today. And I didn't, because I said, oh, maybe if you said something, he might be arrest you, put you on the bench, and if somebody perform, and play well, you maybe stay on the bench. So that's the way, I think we are thinking. And when I look back, I should maybe go and talk to him, but I was 20 years old, 21 years old, and when I've got the picture in my mind, I saw, the corners, from the left-hand side, I see the ball coming, and the 1v1 with the striker. It's like yesterday in my mind, and sometimes I said, oh, why you went for the tackle, and make this mistake. But I was young, and I think you're learning from this type of experience, and I tried to come back, and the same night I was in a car, and I couldn't drive. So my agent was in the car with me. My girlfriend at this time was at the back, and I said, I think you need to look after me. She said, no, I think you will look after me. I said, why? Because I am pregnant. so this night was unbelievable, but look, that's I mean, to accept this. That's part of the job, and try to come back and work really, really hard. And but the pain was massive. And what can I say after this?
Yeah, and I think that kind of feeds in because obviously, as a massive Liverpool fan, obviously you when you go to the match, when you sign a new player, I think it's maybe drummed into a new player to, if you just give 100%, it doesn't really matter how good you are at the end of the day. If you're showing that working mentality and whatever, and I think maybe that happened that day where you're a young man and you're just trying to find your way into the team, and then something like that happens because you're trying to give your best. It was kind of just it was just bad luck, wasn't it? And that just sometimes happens in football, unfortunately.
Yes, but I've been lucky because I won all the games at Goodison Park against the Blues. So
well, that goes nicely.
I prefer to keep that in my mind, and but to be honest with you, what a dream, walking on field, you never walk alone, be on the pitch. I remember the first game against West Ham, when it was like cloudy, dark, perfect, English weather, the lights on, full house, walking down the stairs, toward the pitch and listening, you will never walk alone. And my family was in the stand, and what a day, to be honest with you. And so massive experience. And I've been lucky. I always said, I've been lucky to play for this football club and playing around with massive players, and the whole Melwood, the new Melwood, the new building, staff like Sammy Lee, Phil Thompson. I mean, wow. I remember the first time when we played Everton. I think it was on Friday morning, and usually the boss had a speech, and a speech, a few words before the training session. And I think this is the first time I've seen Phil Thompson like this, I said, wow, why is so exciting like this, But because you're learning from the story, you're learning from the past, you're learning from the culture, from the from everything. So it was unbelievable, and but what a great experience.
Yeah, well, that goes nicely into the question I'm going to ask you next. And obviously, the Gary Mack game is one of the most legendary games against Everton. That like when you think of games against Everton, there's quite a few recently, obviously Origi and whatever else, but that one against Everton at Goodison Park in 2001 is one of my favourites, and I'm sure it's a lot of everyone's favourites. But you won the free kick for that for that chance, so that's an assist for you, I'd say. But what was that day like for you? It must have been amazing that the way it ended.
When I asked the ball, I'm going for the goal. I said, if I've got in my mind to drive with the ball 18 yards and toward the goal. So, but it's a bad tackle. I think I can't remember who made the foul on me, but we had the magician, Gary Mack. So I was glad and so happy because what a game, and this game was really important for the rest of the season. To get 3 points, away from home against Everton, and you see the celebration, you see everybody, jumping, running all around the pitch, and it was amazing. The feeling we had on this night was unbelievable from the fans, so I knew after this what does it mean to play a derby, proper English derby against the Blues, and sometimes it's difficult to find the words, the proper words to explain, what you're feeling, and what I've got, in my mind. But you see the picture when I am with Maka, on the pitch, and he gave me a big hug. So Gary Mack has been fantastic with me, and how many times, because he played with Eric Cantona, at Leeds, and this time he called me Cantona as well, when I came to Liverpool, as a joke. But Gary Mack has been a lovely man to me, and especially in Liverpool, but as well in Rangers, when he came back to Rangers. So a great man, and great memories on this day. Not for the Blues, but yes, for the rest.
Yeah, I actually watched it again this morning. I've seen it thousands of times, but I just thought I'll watch it again. think it was Alex Anderson, because you pick her up just past the penalty, our own penalty area, and you just start this lung busting run, and you could see in your eyes you wanting to go as far as you can to goal. I think Alex Anderson just comes in and just swipes you, and then you look at how far out it is. Did he ever try anything like that in training, Gary Mack, or was it? Do you think that was just a one-off thing?
I think he's at the moment we don't know what's going on in Mac head and his mind. But if you have a look the game like you did, I think you can see he goes for the goal. I think that's why he try, and I think the ball. I think I can maybe touch the ball, but I think I avoid the ball just at the last second. I'm really close because I'm not too sure where I am. Because I'm not facing the goal. I'm facing Gary Mack, so I don't know exactly where is the goal. I just worried. I said, if you just touch the ball a little bit, it's maybe a mistake. So it's like a second, less than a second. You have to think, and react really quickly. So that's why I try to walk away from the ball. Sorry, and Gary Mack is on target. So the perfect, really good free kick. Really good free kick.
Yeah, and I think it's like, I think he definitely meant it, just like I said, because you could see from his eye line. I watched it, obviously, like I said, and it flies it's quite close to you when like you said, it flies quite close to your head, especially if you're trying to figure out where the goal is and you're trying to maneuver it so you don't touch it, or maybe you try and get a touch on it if you think it might be going wide. But it was just a perfect day. But I just wanted to ask you, obviously you're part of that amazing, incredible squad. I've got a difficult question for you. Who was the most outstanding player, do you think, in that team? Obviously, there was Gerrard, Fowler, Owen. There was just absolutely a load of quality players. But who amazed you every day when you went into training the most?
A tough one, to be honest with you, because the quality this time was unbelievable. So I always say Steve G because he was an unbelievable player. But if you think about Michael as well, Michael won the Ballon d'Or. Robbie could have scored from anywhere with his left footed. So wow, Sammy Pierre Rock. It's a tough one. It was really, really tough one. So I always say Steve G. But I think Michael won the Ballon d'Or because Michael maybe was ready at this time to be a superstar. So Stevie G and Michael, maybe, I would say. But it's a tough one because you are talking about midfielder, striker, but you can speak about goalkeeper, defenders, and people who sometimes, as a defender, are working so hard for the teams. And of course, it's easier to speak about strikers or midfielder who are scoring goals because you remember sometimes most of the time the goals. But if you have a look at the defenders at this time from Liverpool, wow, a prop defender, Carragher, Marcus Babel, and Stefan Henshaw, Sami Hyypiä, and so on. So, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a really, really, really difficult one.
Yeah, like I said, like that squad is kind of like I can probably memorize every single person of that squad just based on what that squad achieved. And like I said, that's such a great memory for me because I was only like 11 years old, 12 years old at the time, so I was quite a young kid and just kind of recently getting into football. I suppose at the age of like 7 or 8, you start to really form your idols and stuff. So I was like 3 or 4 years into that, and to have that team and squad at that time for me, living in Liverpool and being brought up in Liverpool, was just an amazing time. But I just wanted to talk about Gerard Houllier as well a little bit. Obviously, he sadly passed away last in December of 2020. How was your relationship with him at the time, and did you keep in touch with him after you left at all?
I was so close with Gerard until the last day. It has been a really emotional time for me because he signed me as a young man, brought me to Liverpool Football Club. And I always been in touch with him. And when I stopped to play, when I was doing my badges, and I was always on the phone with him, going to Paris to his apartment, and have a lunch with him in Paris, or talking about the methodology, the way I see the football now as a coach, what I need to do, and that's why when he passed away, I've been on the phone with Liverpool, with Stevie G, Gary Mack, Phil Thompson, and the people from the club, and because during the pandemic nobody was allowed to travel. So I said to the guys, I said to the club, I said, look, I've got a Liverpool scarf house, so I'm going to Paris because at this time I was in Marseille, and I said, look, if you give me the authorization, I will pay tribute to Gerrard with the Liverpool scarf. So that's why if you have a look at the newspaper L'Equipe, you will see the scarf on the coffin when he's leaving the church, and I think that show you the Liverpool Football Club, contribution, the culture, because I think Gerrard we done a massive achievement at Liverpool. The progression, was unbelievable. The ideas, the way he structured the club, and the way he changed the mentality on and off the pitch. And it was like a dot for us because, and you are talking about Michael, when Michael was maybe 21, 22, 23, Stevie G the same, 21, 20 years old. Carragher was maybe 24, 23. So all young men, and he was so close with us, Daddy Murphy, and so it changed everybody's mentality. So that's why we done, so well. And some of these players achieving an unbelievable, targets. But Gerrard was, it's crazy because he called me on a Friday, I think he called me on a Friday or Saturday, I can't remember the day, and I missed his call, and I called him back and I left a message. And I had the game on a Sunday, and I had a phone call I am at the post office because I left a message to him. I said, boss, I'm just writing, a Christmas card, so you should have received my Christmas card pretty soon. And I am at the post office 9 o'clock a.m. in the morning, and I had the message at 9:30. So it's unbelievable because he never get my Christmas card, for Christmas. I mean, Elizabeth, yeah, but not the boss. So sometimes that's the story, and sometimes the life it's like this. But what a man! I think he done so well, and the Liverpool fans know that. They know the football, so they know what Gerrard done for this football club.
Yeah. It was such a sad time. Obviously, like we saw him going to other clubs, and he always spoke so well about Liverpool, even when he was obviously at the club, and when he left, he was obviously a huge Liverpool fan, and he goes down as a Liverpool legend for what he did, and like you said, to change the culture of the club and bringing it a bit more progression in terms of diet. And I know Carragher spoke about this, like changing the way players look at the game and changing diet and stuff like that. And I think he was kind of one of the people that kind of was the forefront at changing that type of the way of life that football is at the moment. And I think, yeah, that's why he goes down as a legend. So rest in peace, Gerrard.
Yeah. But the change, I think the change are always, I would say, nasty, difficult, and sometimes it's nasty in the middle, but it's gorgeous at the end. So it's always difficult, to change the mentality, especially when you come from abroad. But I think the chairman at this time said, when he spoke about Gerrard, he said Gerrard done the perfect job for Liverpool, and he was right because now we can rest in peace, and we can pay tribute to him.
Yeah, definitely. But I just obviously from one Liverpool legend, Gerard Houllier, to another in Jurgen Klopp, we've got to talk a little bit about how good Liverpool are at the moment, because it's absolutely incredible. And then obviously at the time of recording now, we're still on for the quadruple, which in itself is just no other English team has ever done that. So the fact that we're still in the conversation at this stage in May is absolutely incredible. But what have you made of the job Jurgen Klopp's done in his near 7 years at the club?
It's amazing, unbelievable. When we are talking about your club, you're talking about management, leadership. But what a man! I think the achievement is unbelievable, and it has been difficult, at the beginning. But the support from the board, the support from the fans, support from the chairman has been amazing. And the way transform the squad, the way transform the team, the way now they are playing, and the attacking football, and the transition is unbelievable. And I was talking to my players about regarding the first half against Manchester United 2 weeks ago, if I'm correct. And I think I said that's maybe the best 30, 45 minutes I've seen from Liverpool since a while, because the transition to attack and the first goal, the speed of the ball, the body shape, the back foot, the breaking the lines. I mean, wow, unbelievable. But it's always now I think a pleasure to watch Liverpool. But what Jurgen have done, I think right now is one of the best. Simple as that. I think he's one of the best in the world. You can speak, of course, we are talking about Carlos Ancelotti, Pep, or massive manager, Zinedine Zidane. But 7 years in Liverpool, under pressure, week in, week out, chasing trophies. And now, potentially, he can win the Champions League. He can win the title and winning the cup. So, wow. Imagine the last 2-3 weeks. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and it really is. Like, obviously, we just touched earlier on about the treble in 2001, but the fact that this team can go and do a quadruple, especially up against the Man City team, who were just absolutely incredible, an incredible team. I'm still surprised they didn't beat Real Madrid, which was a crazy game, but I'm happy they didn't get there. I'm happy we're playing Real Madrid. But in terms of like a left back, then obviously you plied your trade as a left back for your football career, and I just wanted to ask your opinion on Andy Robertson, because obviously came to the club £8 million, which, I mean, maybe in your day was quite a lot, but nowadays it's
nothing.
It's nothing. What have you made of him? How good is he?
No, he's one of the best left back now. When we were last back with Andy, I was invited by Steve Clarke with the Scottish national team in October. So I spent 2-3 days with the first team, and I spoke with him after the session. And of course, we were talking about Liverpool, and the left back position, and a couple of things. But he's full of energy. He loves the football. He's a great left back, lovely left-footed. So he's running. He can run up and down. I think the balance between him and Hanola has been from the right hand side was unbelievable. They are capable to run all day long, but Andy, I think is wow. He looks like he's never tired. But no, I think it was a great move from Liverpool, and sometimes you're gambling, and like you said, 8 million 20 years ago, it's massive. It was massive, but now it's nothing. You are talking about 100 million transfer. So, and it's normal. But no, I think it's a stick to Liverpool DNA, and he's a proper defender as well, and he's capable to defend the 1-on-1 situation. He's quick. So that's why he's playing week in and week out. No doubt about it.
Yeah, he's absolutely incredible. And I think when we signed him for 8 million, I suppose none of us really knew what to expect, because it came from Hull. I suppose you don't really. I don't know if you appreciate it as well when someone's at Hull. You don't know how good someone's going to be, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. So the fact that he did come in was incredible, and especially since we signed Tsimikas as well. He's got, like, Robbo's got 15 assists and 2 goals this year. I think that arrival of Tsimikas and the fact that Tsimikas came into the team and started to do quite well when Robertson was out of the team and injured and stuff has kind of pushed him to a new level, I think. But yeah, just incredible, isn't he?
Yeah, you need competition. So that's why, why as a manager, you try to develop, each position, because that's why you need, for big club. Because if I'm not doing well, I know someone is waiting his chance, So that's why I think that the balance of the squad is perfect right now. Plus Diaz, who came January, so I think he was in a perfect time to sign Diaz as well at this moment. And because the rotation now for Klopp at front is it's unbelievable. And you got Jota, you got you got Mane, you got Salah, you got Firmino, Diaz.
There's so many. There's so many.
It's powerful, so powerful, so unbelievable. And then after, if you have a look right now, the midfielder, when you see Alcantara playing, wow.
Yeah, and I just wanted to ask you about. Obviously, we're talking about a current Liverpool a legend, I'd say, Andy Robertson. But another one that you play with was John Reese. I just want to get your opinion on Reese because I think he was absolutely superb as well. And I think when you're in a pub and you're having a drink with your mates and you're talking about who's the best Liverpool 11 from the Premier League era, so since 1992, John Arisa was always probably everyone's number one in that. But I think recently, because of what Robertson's achieved and what the team have achieved, I think he might have eclipsed them. What are your thoughts on that?
I really enjoy to play with John because at this time sometimes he play left midfielder. I play left back or play left back. I play left midfielder, and so when he play left back, I think because the understanding between us was really good. And I remember, I think it was something on a newspaper after the Everton game, and I can't remember which newspaper, but at this time they were talking about the best, left side, talking about, John and myself. So it was always good to see these kind of things, but John was a great player, good left-footed. He was capable to run all day long as well, powerful, really good with a free kick. So really good player from Liverpool, of course. I really enjoyed to play with him.
Yeah, I mean, he was that left foot. I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. Like the free kick against Man United and just absolutely unbelievable, really.
Yeah.
But we've touched on one legend in Gerrard Houllier, another legend in Jurgen Klopp, and I think we might as well talk about another one, Steven Gerrard. Obviously, you're now at Dundee as a coach, but you were at Rangers alongside Stevie and alongside Gary Mack. And what was that experience like for you?
Well, really, really good, really nice, because it's always a pleasure, working with people from past with a strong relationship. But Stevie came, with a vision, the way he wanted to play as a manager, and try to restructure the club because when he came at the first year, and the thing the club wasn't ready to achieve what he have done, over the 3 years, I think, 3.5 years, and it changed everything, and the canteen, the physio room, the gym, the medical, department. All the environments, iBox as well, and with the player lounge, everything brand new, everything prepared, just to show to the players, okay, look, I want no excuse mentality. That you ask me something, I will give you something, but you need to give me something back on the pitch. So he managed, his budget, he didn't have 100 million to spend on the transfer market, of course. But I think, with Gary Mack and Michael Bay, I think they've been clever enough to sign, the correct players at the time. And it's always difficult. Rangers are a massive club. You are under pressure week in and week out. The demands from the fans are like Liverpool. They want to win. They want trophies at the end of the season. So and of course to stop, Celtic from 10 in a row. Yeah. So the pressure was massive, but the achievement, I think, from Europe has been good as well. Because if you have a look, the history from Europe, there's a big demand from Rangers, and I think the club has done well, and look, this year they're in final. But what is done from, I think he did a great job. He was the first one, so it's not always easy because it wasn't an easy one to say yes to Glasgow Rangers at this time. Huh? But I really enjoy to work with him. I give him, always my best. That's why, he gives me so much respect back. I always call him boss at the training ground. I never call him Stevie G or Steven, because I think he wasn't my pal or my friend at the training ground. He was my boss. So I think it's important, to show the respect. And I'm really, really glad for him, really pleased. I think now he's doing a good job. And I was really happy to work for him.
Yeah, well, I think that'd be my dream anyway, because obviously growing up as a kid in Liverpool and wanting to play for Liverpool, Stevie G was and is my idol. So I'm very jealous that you got to work with him, because it must have been absolutely terrific. But Gregory, we're just we're getting towards the end now, so I just thought I'd ask you very quickly. Obviously, there's been a bit of speculation about whether Stevie will take over from Jurgen Klopp in 2024. That was before Jurgen Klopp signed a deal to extend that to 2026. So I think Gerrard will have been at Villa for 5 years in 2026 once the Klopp deal ends. Do you think he might be the next person after Klopp in 26?
Look, I think the situation now is really clear. Jurgen signing a contract until 2026. The fans want him at Anfield, the board as well. So that's why he's signing a contract with the staff. At the moment, Steven is working for Aston Villa. He signed a 3 years deal, I think, if I'm correct. I'm not 3 years deal, maybe. You need to double check that. So he is focused on Aston Villa job. Where it will be in 5 years' time, 4 years' time, nobody knows. It's the same for Jurgen. The football, it's a crazy world. If you don't have success, and you are not winning trophies, you're out. Simple as that. Especially when you're working for big club. So his day will come. That's for sure, because I think everybody wants to see that's happening. So no doubt about this. If you ask me the question, I think yes, he wants to manage Liverpool because he's done everything for this football club as a player. So I think this is normal. It would be normal to see him as a manager, but right now, I think there is so much respect for Jurgen Klopp, because what he's doing at the moment is unbelievable. He can be one of the most successful manager for this football club. So we'll see, but at the moment, I think it would be a lack of respect to say something like this, because at the moment Jurgen Klopp is simply the best, and Steven is learning. I think as a young manager or young coach, you're learning every year, and you must be ready because when you are sitting on field as a number one, there is a lot of pressure. So one day I think so, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But Gregory, we'll leave it there. I want to just say thanks very much for the time, for jumping on, and I really appreciate you just taking the time from your morning to chat to me about things. It's been great. Thanks very much. But yeah, if you did like this video, please do give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming interviews in the pipeline. And we'll see you next time. Up the Reds.